I'd next like to call Luis Rivera from Southwest Brooklyn IDC.
Good afternoon. My name is Luis Rivera. I'm the Industrial Business Zone Manager for Southwest Brooklyn Industrial Development Corporation. On behalf of my organization, I'd like to thank Councilmember Brewer and the New York City Broadband Advisory Committee for its dedication to universal, affordable access to broadband in all parts of New York City and for holding today's hearing. Since 1978, my organization has been working with manufacturing and industrial businesses in Sunset Park and more recently, Gowanus and Red Hook. There are over 3,000 businesses that take advantage of tax incentives and other benefits for relocating and expanding in the industrial park. To give you an idea of the bustling small business market in Southwest Brooklyn, Red Hook and Gowanus has a 3% vacancy rate and Sunset Park a mere 1%. These businesses make big investments in addition to creating well-paying blue-collar jobs, but also are void of dependable telecommunication services. Many of our constituents are looking to the web and using email to create sales in a competitive, evolving world. I have been working with Southwest Brooklyn for over 8 years now, and I can attest to the fact that broadband service in these areas are no better now than when I started in the late 1900s. Red Hook has no access to broadband, and only parts of Gowanus and Sunset Park have access to broadband. Verizon has told us that this situation persists for 2 reasons. The first explanation is these neighborhoods are too far away from the central office. The second is that the copper infrastructure is old and insufficient in these areas. Phone service is also a problem in the industrial areas. It takes between 2 to 3 months to get phone service, and once the businesses move to Southwest Brooklyn, they are told that they cannot get high-speed internet service. As part of all 3 neighborhoods do not have access to cable because providers will not pay for the needed infrastructure. It is unproductive to say that providing the necessary infrastructure to these areas is not worth it, and we hope that the city will work with these companies to ensure that businesses in Southwest Brooklyn and all over New York have the dependable and affordable telecommunication service they need. Southwest Brooklyn Industrial Development Corporation will be happy to help the committee in identifying these problems. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rivera. Questions?
Thank you for your comments. Having a fair amount of experience in the use of the internet by companies for marketing and other factors, have you seen in the clients that you work with and the companies here in Southwest Brooklyn how they get found? In other words, they probably don't have websites. So if I'm interested in buying a product, are they tied into some of the larger Googling type search engines? Or
many of the companies we service are antiquated, so they're trying to get into the high technology world. Some of them do have websites, and they rely on email. We try to do email blasts to our constituents, and we probably have like 40% of our constituents use email. But the ones who are staying in the industrial area, the ones who are growing, are the ones who are using the web because they rely on those extra sales. So there are those who are using the technology. And the ones who are not, I mean, you'll see that they're the companies that die out. They're the ones that can't keep up with the fast pace. But there are those that are there.
Question from Jose Luis Rodriguez.
Yes. How important is it for your members to have information on what is available in terms of broadband? Is part of the problem is lack of information, or also you mentioned access to high-speed connections is a problem. Is that correct?
I think it's the business mind, especially in the industrial park. It's like they're still doing their business the old way, and we have to show them how to do it the new way. So, I mean, many of them are catching up, but they still need that information. They still need probably someone to knock on their door and tell them, you can make more money, or you can drive sales up using the internet or using the web, or having your own website. Changing your products, changing what you have, or creating a new market. So it's actually going there and speaking to the businesses.
What percentage of the 3,000 businesses that you alluded to would you say that are using the web effectively?
I don't have that number, but I can say a small majority. We have, let's say, 300 members, and probably half have web access.
High-speed access, or what type of access?
Well, I'll say they have a website, let's say. Website. Access, we would have to do a survey and find out who has the access. But I do have 4 to 5 companies right now who have, especially after it rains, after a heavy rainfall, there's a problem with the infrastructure in the industrial parks.
If you had to make recommendations to this group in terms of what you would like to see, in addition to broadband, in your area, what recommendations would you make for the city or the council to implement, to be able to help your constituents?
Probably advertising. I don't see enough advertising. I mean, you see everything else being sold all over the place, but you don't see technology being marketed, like in the highways, billboards, and stuff like that. These businesses, drive to and from, New Jersey or Long Island or Staten Island, and if they were to see, a phone number they can call or something like that, or something that says you should be on the web, or you should have access, or you should have high-speed internet, or something like that, they'll call. I think they would call. They'll write that number down and call that main number, and then the referral would get sent to the appropriate agency or something like that.
That 50% of the members that you mentioned that are not using the internet, is there any specific profile that they have? They are mainly small minority business, or they're small business period?
Small business period.
Okay.
Small business.
It doesn't matter whether it's...
Usually the businesses that are run, the ones who are not taken over by their children. The children are the ones who say, "Mom, Dad, let's get into the internet. Let's go and get these sales." But the ones who stay with the older generation, because I guess they don't have the information or they don't have the time, they're still keeping records in a ledger, whereas they could be using some of the newer payroll programs. So mainly is the ones who are not using the web are the mom and pops.
Thank you.
Wendy.
You've mentioned that businesses often don't know about the benefits of broadband or have problems getting access to broadband, and I'm wondering, once they're actually connected, and you're using computers, do you find that they need tech support? Because we often hear at EDC that small businesses don't have time or knowledge once they have all the equipment in place. And if that's the case, if you've heard that as well, how would the tech support best be delivered to these businesses?
I think the ones that are using, from my experience, the ones who are using, internet access, and the ones who are up there, they're calling me and telling me, I have to update my information, So I think the savvy ones are the ones who are using the internet wisely, and if they need support, they'll contact whoever their providers, or they'll call me. But I rarely get any phone calls from the companies who are using internet wisely. So I don't have that problem.
Do you think that if the companies that are in your group had access to employees that knew about the technology, had broadband at home, were educated using the broadband, that would ultimately benefit those businesses that are in your group to be able to take advantage of the technology going forward?
Definitely, I think so. I think actually that's a good idea. If they were to notice those employees and somehow have them use their skills to I guess start a different part of their business. I think it will work. Yeah.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Thank you, Mr. Rivera.